It's the next level.
Hi. I made macaroni if you want some.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I was starving and you took forever, so I wanted to make food.
What do you want?
Relax, Kate Bishop. I just want to talk, okay? Are you really not hungry? That fight was so long. It's really tasty. Really tasty.
Yeah, I know what boxed mac and cheese tastes like. Okay, I know it's delicious.
Forks. No. You have one fork?
I'm one person.
That's so weird.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
I'm Steve.
and this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about the 5th episode of Marvel's Hawkeye on Disney Plus. So, Steve, take it away as far as our synopsis for this particular episode.
The title for this episode is just Ronin, and it says, after a fallout between Clint and Kate, the latter is ready to abandon her dream of becoming a hero, but Kate makes a discovery that changes everything. Everything.
Dun, dun, dun. Everything. And she keeps calling Clint and over and over again. All right, initial thoughts. What are your initial thoughts about this particular episode?
I mean, I was blown away. I'm sure we're going to talk about the ending. This is wow, and what they've given us in this episode. I just rewatched it a couple hours ago before recording, and it's so good. Like, it's such a good episode. I love everything with Yelena Florence Pugh. She's amazing. Every moment with her on screen is just great. It's just, she turns, my words escape me. And it just was a really good show. This Hawkeye is, I don't know. These 6 episode shows that Marvel is doing, you know, we had WandaVision, and I know some people didn't really like WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was great, but I think there was even a couple of moments in there where we were kind of like, this doesn't really play. But I think everything in this show has just been great. I mean, yes, it's a comic book show, so you've got to deal with comic book elements. So, you know, but man,
the drama is really good in it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. They, like I said, I've said this before. I think I've said it just about every week. Marvel has this way of blending drama, comedy, action, all of it together. I mean, they've got the formula and they figured it out, and it works for me at least.
Yeah, same here as well. With me, this was a really good episode with an amazing ending that will keep us thinking about what will happen come episode 6. And I just love having Yelena back in it, and that wonderful picture at the end that we get of someone who we saw in a Netflix show we covered way back when. Actually, 2 Netflix shows. We did Punisher. And we did Daredevil a little bit, too. So, to me, it's all coming to fruition. And the MCU is holding no punches. And we'll talk about that further on the next podcast when we talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, listeners, keep out for that particular podcast, because we're going to do a whole spoiler-full podcast about Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to open up the doors and go all out. But, with that, we should move right along into our top 5. What do you think?
Sure.
Kate?
Look at this. Who's that with my mom?
Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time. Kingpin.
So I'll start, and my number 5 would be Florence Pugh coming back as Yelena Belova just after the Black Widow movie to show her where she was at the time of the snap and how she got involved with being a contract killer for hire as a Black Widow. But in this particular episode, we don't see Val. We only got to see Val at the very end when Wendy and I had covered Black Widow, where Val had handed her a picture who, Yelena was hired to take out. But we do get Anna or Anna. I'm not sure exactly.
Anna, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna.
That seemed to be a widow at one point, but we don't get really confirmation about it. But was not altered in any way. So when they used the mist or whatever it was to snap them out, she wasn't under any sort of control at that point. So we find out that she's a businesswoman, and Yelena comes back from the snap later on, 5 years later, and Anna helps Yelena at that point. And it's a whole start with her now. And we get a little bit of the backstory of Yelena that we needed from the time of Endgame at that point till now. And it's kind of done literally within minutes, which is amazing.
Yeah, Florence Pugh was my number 5 as well, but a little bit different perspective on it. That scene in Kate's apartment was just outstanding. Like the comic timing that Florence Pugh showed in that scene alone was it just struck me as incredible, because Kate is just playing the straight man in the whole thing, and she can't believe this, and that whole conversation could be one whole, like, we could quote everything that both of them say. And just the way she kept saying her full name, Kate Bishop, is just, I mean, it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
When she's, when Kate said, "Oh, I almost killed you," and she's like, "Oh, you are funny, Kate Bishop. You kill me." I just, but I love the really thing that I love the most about the whole thing, though, is it's a short scene, but by the end of it, Kate convinces her that Clint, I don't think she really convinced Yelena, maybe not to kill Clint, or that Clint's a good guy, but she kind of got Yelena to understand that if somebody's hiring you to kill him, they're even worse than he is. And so she goes on her little hunt, and we get those pictures that we're going to talk about later on, I'm sure. But it was really cool. I agree with you, to see where, see where she was at the end of the Black Widow. We get confirmation that the Black Widow movie takes place 2017, 2018. We don't know how long she was searching for Black Widows before the snap.
It's 2018.
Wait, no, the scene we see, hold on, let me finish. The scene we see is in 2018. But remember, she says they've helped a lot of widows already. So we don't know exactly. That's why I say 2017 or 2018 is when Black Widow
about a
took
year,
place.
you would think. Okay.
Yeah, I would think about a year, because that's what it seems like, because they got this down to a science where they're figuring out where these Black Widows are. They're helping them, but there's still a whole bunch more to find. So, but it could have been 2018. It's either way. I just love that we kind of got that confirmation, because we were all, I was like, didn't understand where Black Widow was supposed to be in the timeline, the movie Black Widow.
Okay.
So it was good to kind of get that confirmation. And you mentioned that post-credit scene from Black Widow with Val. We don't know when that takes place.
That's exactly it. We
either.
don't.
Because it seems like Val was the one sending her after Clint, but then at the end we find out that no, she was hired by Eleanor.
Meaning that maybe Val was subcontracted by Eleanor.
Possibly,
or through
so
the fat man.
Yeah, it could have been either way. So it's going to be interesting to see what the relationship is between Val and Eleanor, Val and, I'm going to say his name, Kingpin, and Val and Yelena. What is the relationship there? Is Yelena just a contract killer like Anna it has been, or you know, what's she doing now? I thought that was funny, the way she was talking so cavalier about it in the house with her husband and her adopted child. I mean, they weren't in the room with him, so I don't know how much they know about what Anna is.
Yeah.
But yeah, or does. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, my main point there was Florence Pugh was just amazing in this episode.
Well, I have to shift that now. My third is going to be my fourth. So, yeah, that would be Yelena's conversation with Kate, always using Kate's full name, which was so weird. The fact that she has one fork in the house, so Kate only has one fork, and Yelena points that out. The conversation that she could have killed her as soon as she came into the apartment. And Kate's like, well, I could have taken you out. And it's like, no. No, you couldn't. Yelena is hating on Clint since she feels that Clint killed Natasha in her mind because she didn't get all the information exactly of what had happened. And I just love the turnaround, though, at the end. The fact that she makes Kate mac and cheese, but at the very end, she asks Kate, hey, do you want the rest of this? No. Oh, okay. And then she just pours sriracha on it, which is really cool too, because I love hot sauce and stuff like that. So mac and cheese and hot sauce, you know, I know a lot of people out there going, that sucks, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So my number 4 is the scene between Kate and her mom. It's so touching. Her mom's like dressing her wounds and like talking to her about, you know, you can't be a hero anymore. And I came to realize on this third watch that Kate has been training herself her entire life to be a superhero. That's why she's done the archery. That's why she
be Hawkeye all this time. She modeled herself after her hero.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so to get that disappointing moment where she realizes that she can't, you know, but then we know that a lot of it, some of it at least had to be fake, because we see at the end, Eleanor has some sort of relationship with Wilson Fisk. We don't know exactly. Yeah. And I'm now on board with you. I think she is really the criminal mastermind here, and she framed Jack. That whole scene where he's being arrested and he's talking to the police officers, he goes, I haven't worked a day in my life. I don't even know what Sloan Limited is. The only Sloan I know was a girl in Florida, you know? And I just love that he's like, I'm being framed. Like he's so just nonchalant about it. He's like, don't worry, I'll be home by the Christmas party because this is a frame, and they're going to figure out that I don't know anything about anything because I'm just a billionaire playboy. That's all I am, you know? So, that was my number 4.
Well, my number 3, that would be Kate's consistent phone calls to Clint and her leaving multiple voice messages that fill up his voicemail. She was so determined to tell what needed to be done and to get everything to work and giving him all the information. You know, she just needed to help at that point. She tells him about Jack and tries to do the quarter shot and breaks something in the process at the same time. Oh, crap. And she does that. And then it sounds like someone that is completely obsessed with someone after they are, you know, they first meet them. It's like, you know, she is obsessed because she is a fan of Hawkeye. She modeled herself after him. But that whole scene just gave me vibes of Jim Carrey's Cable Guy when he kept calling. And he's like, but this made more sense in some respect. You know, she was doing it for the right reasons.
Very cool. Yeah. So my number 3 is Clint. That fight between Clint and Maya. Again, it wasn't until this third watch that I realized she was using her artificial leg to block the knight, the sword. Because you could hear the clang as the sword hit her artificial leg. And I was just like, that again, the choreography of the fights in this show is just incredible.
Yeah. Very much with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, too. They did a lot of good stuff there too.
Yeah. So that fight between the two of them is just incredible. I loved every minute of it. I loved watching it every time. And I don't think we've seen the last of Maya because I don't think he convinced her to stop.
No, he didn't. But he did put a seed in her head about something that had happened. Like her father's death or things of that nature. And on top of that, the fat man. And it's like kind of presence too, where they meet up at the first time where her father had died, which is the fat man car like sales or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's like blazoned right there. It's like, okay, can you scream out Kingpin right now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And they had really cool 80s cars, too. A lot of them were like 85, 82, 81. Like, who's going to really buy these cars, honestly? It's really a front, and that's all it was.
Yeah. I thought that was good, and I had it in my notes that apparently she thinks Kazi was the informant. Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting, again, to see how that plays out in the final episode, or if it's going to be something that's going to carry on into another series or what.
Or another season. Who knows if we get another season. We haven't really gotten any confirmation, but it'd be interesting.
I actually already talked about my number 2 in my other point about Jack and about not knowing anything about Sloane and Eleanor being the one that's framing him. So I'm going to drop down to my notes because we're going to talk about Kingpin here in a minute. But I can't wait to see the outfits because I'm sure we're going to see them.
It's coming at the last episode. You know this.
Yes, it's got to be. And I can't wait. I just loved that whole scene in Grill's apartment when Clint comes to the door and he rings the bell and he's like, "Hey, Grills, it's Clint." You can just hear the joy in Grills' voice. He's like, "You come to my apartment." You know?
Well, the fact that Grills. All right, I'm going to pull this from my notes. All right, so if Grills dies, we riot. He taught Pizza Dog how to, he trained Pizza Dog at some point. I want more Grills. He's a really good dude. He helps out. He loves Kate. He loves Clint. And he's just there to help out whenever needed. And he's a good old dude who's from the fire department or, the FDNY,
Yeah, and that was an interesting twist there that the dog went with Clint and didn't stay with Kate. Yeah. I didn't see that coming because she was really bonding with that dog.
Yeah, she was.
And so I don't know where that shift occurred or if we just missed it or what, but yeah, that was interesting.
Probably a deleted scene that we're probably going to see later on at a certain point. Who knows? All right, well, my number 2 that would be Clint talking to Natasha. Just the ghost of her, just him talking outrightly. He pulls out his hearing aid, and it's the monument where the first battle went down with the Avengers. And he's talking about how he tries his best every day to do the right thing for her giving him a chance. But, her sacrifice was literally, and we learn here, for her sister, Yelena. At that point. And I think we got that point at the end of Black Widow as well. But then apologize for about what he's going to do and what he does within this episode with Echo or what's her name? Maya. Yeah. And and then he goes after Echo basically to take her out. But he doesn't take her out, but gives her information, which is really, really prevalent. And I'm hoping that we get within Maya/Echo some sort of ally for Clint and Kate towards the end against the Kingpin,
Yeah, I would love to see that kind of a team up, that kind of a redemption kind of thing, or at least a forgiveness or a forgiving from her, you know, because he's really, and like you said, that conversation that he kind of has with Nat where he's talking to himself, but he's just like, because it's almost like he had made a vow not to go back to being the Ronin.
Yeah.
And yet here he is. I have to go back.
And
to being
he was
the
in
Ronin.
full costume too. And honestly, full credit if Jeremy Renner actually did all those scenes and the fighting choreography within that is very tough because that looks like it was made of leather.
Yeah,
that was hard.
Yeah, yeah, it would have to be. So where we're at our number ones. So my number one is Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio. It's right there in the credits. Yep. I mean, all we see is a picture of him. I'm sure we're going to get him in, I hope anyway, in the next episode, we're going to get full on Vincent D'Onofrio playing Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. There's so much about this that is important, not just to this story, but to the overall universe, because we're finally past that copyright infringement embargo, whatever it was about the Netflix characters.
Yeah.
And they're able to bring them in to the MCU. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but this is just the first that we've seen of a Netflix character being brought into the MCU. Wilson Fisk.
Not until Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's what I don't want to spoil.
I'm sure all our listeners have seen it already. Come on. All right. But yeah, I think we're going to see more of it. And I'm looking more forward to the other Netflix series characters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we get Bernthal as Punisher, that would be amazing.
That would be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my number one, just like you, the end scene with the fight scene with Maya/Echo and Clint. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed the fight scene. Very well choreographed. Then at the very end scene, we get the image of Eleanor and obviously Vincent D'Onofrio as his image of the Kingpin. But all we get is an image. That's all we get. But we get more Netflix characters coming back into the MCU, which to me, honestly, this is something that I've been looking forward to. And I'm glad that they actually kept these characters. If you guys have not watched No Way Home, listen to our podcast when it comes out when we cover No Way Home. All right. Well, those were our top 5. So now we're going to move right along into notes.
So I've got a few. Let me see what we haven't talked about. Oh, I laughed out loud every time the tracksuit bro, the arrow comes through the windshield and he goes, ah! He like screeches, it was great.
My next one would be Echo's distrust with what was his name? I'm forgetting his name.
Kazi.
So
Kazi.
Yeah, Kazi. So basically, he was the big man's second in command in comparison to her father, but he wasn't there at the time when her father was killed, which kind of shows like did he kill her father? And that's
No, Ronin killed her father. We established that because it was Ronin that killed her father. Because even Clint says
he was
that.
purposely sent away or wasn't there at that point. So it makes me think that maybe
he was the informant that leaked the information to Ronin.
All right.
About that's the assumption we're making.
Yeah, that's the clarification. But my feeling was just that he did it.
I'm pretty sure it was Clint. Clint, as Ronin, killed her father. He was just telling her that he was there because of an informant sent him there, gave him the information for that place. That's what he told her was. So he's basically, that was what that whole conversation between them was about, where he says we're both been used as weapons.
Yeah, they were.
And he's basically telling her, I was used as a weapon by someone to kill your father. I was just the weapon they used to kill him. But it was probably the big man who ordered your father's death. That's the way I took it anyway, to the scene. Every time I watched it was that he was basically telling her that Kingpin ordered her father's death.
Okay. All right. Next one.
Is there any more that I haven't talked about? Oh, Clint knowing who Yelena was. Like as soon as Kate said Natasha's sister, Clint knew that, oh, that's Yelena. So obviously we know that Clint and Natasha were close, but obviously they were even closer than what we thought because we didn't even know she had a sister until Black Widow. So
yeah. And I'll further that with my next point, which I have in my notes. Yelena's reference to her father in eating, and it's good for you. And that was from Red Guardian, David Harbour.
That was great.
Himself.
Yep. That was great. The only other one I got, I think we haven't talked about, we've referenced it, but this is the first time we've seen someone blip out and blip back in the same scene. We saw people blip out and we saw people blip back in WandaVision, but this is the first time we've seen one single character
come back.
blip out and then blip back again in the same place they were in.
The last one I would have would be Eleanor got rid of Jack way too easily, but I think that she used her quote unquote boss's resources to get rid of him, meaning Mr. Kingpin himself.
So we've got some quotes.
Yeah.
You just want to go back and forth? Looks like you've got, I don't know if we get the same amount or not. Yeah, we got the same one. I'll do mine first. Again, referring to that blip scene with Yelena, she says, I was just in there for 5 seconds. I come out and I've lost 5 years of my life. Please.
And then one of the widows states this, that's with Yelena at the time. She goes, then you and Natasha will be reunited and live out your Sex in the City life together. That was cute.
The conversation between Kate and Yelena, where Kate says he's still an Avenger, and Yelena says, "What does that word even mean?"
Next one up for me would be: you recently walked into traffic to save a dog, which is pretty cool, which gives you points for me. And that was Yelena about Kate saving Pizza Dog because Yelena has a dog and always wanted one for herself, which she has, and we see it at the very end of Black Widow.
Right. I forgot about that. Good call. My last one is just when they're there in Grill's apartment and Kate says that Grills is cool and Clint kind of gives her a look and she says, yeah, Grills is cool. You can cook. You can put out fires.
But his name is Grills, meaning he grills stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Last one for me would be, we are defined by what we do, not by nice words. And that was from Yelena to Kate about Clint. And those are hard words to swallow at that point too.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got one piece of feedback we got on Facebook from Roxanne, and Roxanne, I have to tell you, you called it just before she sent us this just before episode 5 dropped. And this is what Roxanne had to say. She said, thanks for the entertaining and informative podcast. Thank you, Roxanne. Like your insights, we are all tiptoeing around the name Wilson Fisk, but who else would dress in formal wear complete with cufflinks in a dojo?
Exactly.
Yes. Good point, Roxanne. And yes, we were all tiptoeing around the name Wilson Fisk and Kingpin, and none of us wanted to actually say it, but it is good to now finally be able to say it because we have actually seen him, or at least an image of him in the episode.
Yeah, and I think that's a glimpse to the hand within the MCU as well. So thank you, Roxanne, for that.
You and the hand.
Well, I could have said the foot. And then we got turtles in the... All right, well, with news, Spider-Man No Way Home has come out. So Steve and I will be covering it by the end of this week, hopefully. And then so keep an eye out for that particular podcast when it comes out. I actually posted it in our Facebook thread. So if you need a comment, do so. And we'll give you more information at the very end of the podcast on how to send in feedback. With comic news, there's a bit of comic news, which is very interesting because Chris Claremont was brought back to write for the X-Men comics once again. And I loved Chris Claremont's run on the X-Men. And I had him autograph my issue number 100 for me at a Comic-Con at one point. I would say about just before the pandemic I think it was at the same time when I got Kirk Manley to actually do our artwork for our podcast too that same weekend. So, and I got to speak to Jerry Ordway and all that good stuff. But needless to say, we got Chris Claremont back, who wrote a lot of the greatest issues from the early 80s all the way up into the 90s. And now he's back, and I just can't wait to see what he has to offer as far as his stories are concerned within the X-Men universe, within comics, that is. So those panelers that are out there that are into comics, go out there, check it out. It's awesome.
Very cool.
Yep.
I didn't put any podcast recommendations in, so we'll just plug some of our friends' podcasts. We've already talked about it. We've talked about Strange Indeed. They are covering both Lock and Key and Dexter New Blood. I believe Lock and Key, the last episode is here this week. They might. I don't know. Oh, no, they should be doing 9, so they might have one more week of Lock and Key. And then I think there's a few more weeks of Dexter New Blood. And so I'm not sure where they're going after that. But yeah, definitely check out Strange Indeed if you like those shows. And of course, we always plug TV Podcast Industries, who they plug. They announced this week they have done 100 podcasts this year.
Yeah, I just heard that too.
That's crazy. I was like...
Because they had so much to cover within that time, unlike us.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I was too busy. Sorry.
No, but we're getting close to 200, folks. We're almost at 200.
Yeah, and
we 30 more to go.
We'll have a guest for that one, and I'll be working on that within the interim. But
very exciting,
very exciting, and it's going to be very fun. With me, it's kind of a plug for the network itself, but regardless, Wilhelm. So keep listening to Wilhelm on the Next Level Radio Online podcast network. So check that out with Ben. I might be showing up for the holidays particular podcast that he's doing for Christmas.
Very cool.
So
I look forward to hearing that one.
out. For YouTube recommendations, don't really have much. I would definitely say Comics Explained with Rob. And if you have any questions regarding anything within these shows, always refer to Rob from Comics Explained.
And I always like to plug Eric Voss of New Rock Stars. He covers a lot of the same stuff we do, comic book shows,
amazing.
And does some deep dives into those things. So check out
and
that.
The Cosmic Wonder.
So for us, obviously, you're listening to us on your podcast player of choice. We're available on all of them out there, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player you choose to listen to us on. If they have the ability for you to give us a review, we would love that. We love 5-star reviews. We love to get them. We love to read them, and we love to acknowledge those people. Thank you for all those that have given us reviews. And if you're going to give us a review, we thank you in advance.
Exactly.
Check out our website, which is panels2pixelspodcast.com. And we also have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/panels2pixels. We're on Twitter. Twitter. We're on Twitter.
Twitter, not Twitter.
That's a new one that I'm going to... We're on Twitter. At panels2pixels. That's panels, the number 2, and the word pixels. That's on Twitter. We can have an email, which is panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels2pixels1. The TO spelled out right in the middle, and the number 1 at gmail.com. You can also check us out on YouTube at Panels 2 Pixels Podcast, and we're on Instagram, Panels 2 Pixels Podcast there as well. I have been neglectful, and I apologize for putting out posts, but we'll get posts out for episode 6 because it's coming out in a couple of days.
Soon. Also, please, thank you guys for being patient for the Panels 2 Pixels Podcast.com. I'm still in a transitional phase, and with work and in the holidays, it's very hard for me to get the that particular .com up. So expect after the new year to it being 100%. And I plan on to have links to the podcasts, to the Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, everything. So that way you guys are more in the know. And then plus we'll have more links as well, because we're going to have links for Kirk Manley as well. So, cool. Check that out. I would say February, maybe early March, that will be 100%, because I didn't realize how much garbage I own. So I have to go through all this crap and, get rid of some of it. So, and plus I'm working and podcasting, and I'm doing 2 podcasts at the same time. But I love what I do, and I love doing it. But I also don't want you to feel like, wait, it still says under construction. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of busy.
All right. Well, next week we will be covering the final episode of Hawkeye, and it will be Christmas. Actually, this week is Christmas. We're recording this on Christmas week, so that's exciting. Hopefully very soon, as Mark pointed out, we'll have our Spider-Man No Way Home coverage as well. Will be out soon, so look for those right here on Panels to Pixels podcast.
All right. Well, where else can listener hear us? Steve?
I send voicemails to lots of other podcasts. I've been neglectful of some. I've got to get back to Run For Your Lives.
What's wrong with you?
I know. But yeah, I send voicemails to podcast voice messages, and you can hear me on there talking about the shows. Sometimes I'll live Steve it and give my thoughts as the show progresses.
Well, I could be heard on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, and you could find that on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network. And there we cover action films, adventure films, suspense films, anything that gets your adrenaline running. I recently uploaded They Live, which I did with our friend Jamie Dimmick, and we covered that. That was from 1988 with Rowdy Roddy Piper, and it was a John Carpenter film. So check that out. Go to Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, and you can find that in any player of choice at this point. Or you could go to our Facebook page, which would be facebook.com/Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So check that out there. Very cool. So we have a lot to look forward to. Not only do we look forward to Christmas, and we all wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you Solstice Day. There are so many that revolve around this time, but happy holidays to all you. And I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Panels to Pixels, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.